Welcome back to the Kokino Podcast, the podcast where I talk about stuff that I think I'd like to talk about. Today, I'm going to talk about why I actually missed recording a day. It doesn't really matter that I missed recording a day because I have like 15 days ahead of schedule. There's actually 15 scheduled days. I'm all the way up to like April 5th or something right now. And this is only March 25th, so I'm pretty good as far as keeping them coming out daily. But I actually did miss a recording day, and the reason was because I went over to my cousin's house to go hang out all day and spend the night. So that's what I did. They live over up in Kitsap County, which is like I live in Tacoma. Tacoma is pretty. Washington in general is pretty cool looking. Like you got tall trees everywhere. You got the evergreens, and they're just surrounding everything. But as you go farther and farther north, those trees get taller and taller, and the roads get smaller and smaller, till eventually you're just completely surrounded by trees and you're in a forest. And that's what the area at Kitsap is like. So it's really cool to drive down there and experience that every once in a while. And I also hung out with my cousin. But, you know, hanging out with my cousin, like we mostly just sat down, played video games, and watched YouTube videos and watched like Netflix shows, which it didn't really feel productive to me. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think that like hanging out with him because he's kind of just like me in that he is not very disagreeable about things and he won't necessarily say that he doesn't like something if he doesn't like it. And so like if you have two people who are just kind of like pushovery, not very disagreeable people interacting with each other, it's a very awkward kind of interaction. It's very like, well, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. It's very hard to think of things to do. Well, I guess we could watch YouTube videos or something. Which YouTube video you want to watch? I don't know. I guess I could show you some that I found. Yeah. But you just imagine that conversation going on for 2 days because I actually spent about 2 days. I spent the night, like I spent one whole day, and then spent the night, then spent like the next day. So yeah, that's what I did. Played video games, hung out, watched stuff happen. The video games that I played this game called I forget what it's called, but it's a game where you're playing as these group of teenagers who go to an island. It's an indie game. You play as a group of teenagers who go to an island, and then they get caught up in some kind of ghost mystery with radio signals. They have to go to different areas of the island, and you get to choose which dialogue that you say to people. And it has multiple endings, and like the characters are having realistic conversations as you're moving about the place. Very interesting and cool game. I actually do remember the name. It was Oxenfree. Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. Oxenfree was the name of the game. Pretty cool game. It took about like 3.5 hours to complete because I was kind of just messing around with the characters. I think it's kind of like a 2 hour game, really, but like I was kind of messing around the characters. I was trying to be as evil as possible because like usually when you play the game the first time, you want to be as nice as possible, try to do the best answers and get the best. But you know, when I'm playing a game in front of somebody, that seems like it's a boring option to pick. So I always try to go evil, try to say like the worst thing possible, and it's fun to do that. I did that with when I was playing through, what was it? Oh man, The Walking Dead, that Telltale game. I would just constantly say like the worst possible thing, like constantly blame people for everything, and it was hilarious and fun. But when you do that, you also notice that the game doesn't actually change that much as you do that. Like the game just remains the same. So yeah, I played video games. Also played some. Well, what was that soccer game called? The one where you're driving through cars and you're playing and you're hitting soccer ball like a giant soccer ball with the cars. Shoot, I don't remember the name of the damn game is. But anyways, that game is it's a very hard game because it like you have to get used to it, used to the idea that you're driving a car and you're not a real person kicking the ball because you would behave differently because you have to accelerate and you have to turn and it's like a completely and you also have like different moves. You can like make the car jump and flip around and you can make the car boost and you can do different sorts of things like that and there's items you can use. But basically, it's a game of soccer with cars. And I actually wasn't really looking forward to playing that game, even though we kind of decided to play a few rounds of it. But like, I wasn't looking forward to playing it because the thing that I usually just lose. I usually just don't know what to do. But for some reason or another, when I play it this time, I somehow even was able to score a few times, and I was able to keep like from embarrassing the entire team. So that's cool. I guess you can learn how to play those games even if you don't know anything about them. Oh, what was the game called though? Rocket League. Rocket League. That's what it's called. So like, yeah, if you want to look up that game, everybody knows the game I'm talking about. If they're, I don't know, whatever. But anyways, I also we went out like to eat at a few restaurants, and I paid for food, which I don't like doing. But it was just so awkward, just sitting there and watching stuff on YouTube and playing video games all day, and not actually going out and doing some kind of activity. So like, I was willing to sacrifice some money, paying some money to just get out of the house and do something. And also, like, we couldn't just go out and walk around outside because it was like freezing outside for some reason that day. So, yeah, went out to eat at two places on two different days. The first day we went to Central Market, got some pizza, ate the pizza. This is such a boring story, but I don't care. This is my podcast. I can say whatever I want. Next day we went to the burger place, got some burgers. And that's pretty much what we did. I also got to shoot a rifle for the very first time because my cousin lives on like their family. They live on like 8 acres of land that are surrounded by woods. So there's like not the neighbors are like too far away to notice one or two shots of like a shotgun or yeah, a rifle or whatever. I don't know what caliber of the gun I used, but it was a rifle. You hold it with two hands, you put it against your shoulder, and you shoot. We set up like a target. We set up a giant bin, and I shot at the target and completely missed it. Went right over it. But yeah, it was a interesting experience. I expected it to have more kick than it did. I expected it to be louder than it did, because every time I hear about rifles, they're just loud. We didn't have any earplugs, so like my cousin just plugged my ears for me, and he just took the sound because he was slightly farther away from the rifle. Whatever, it was cool. I actually have shot a gun before, so it wasn't like the newest experience of shooting a gun. I shot a pistol before at the same place. So yeah, we did that. And not much else, man. It's kind of awkward sitting around watching YouTube videos, which is what we did the majority of. Because, and it's awkward showing people videos because you don't know if they're going to like these videos that you're showing them. And some of the videos that I showed him, he didn't really like them. And one of the videos that he didn't really like was almost an hour long. And we had to like stop the video within like, half of it when half of it was done, because it was just too awkward. And the thing about that, the thing that makes it more awkward is that neither me nor him will open our mouths and say something. Like, I had to seriously go out of my social comfort zone to say, hey man, if this is like boring to you, you could stop. Like, it goes on for a long time. And he did stop it because it was boring. But it's just like, I'm a people pleaser. He's kind of a people pleaser too. And two people pleasers do not make a pleasing situation, I would say. Maybe I just need to get like a little bit more picky about what I want to do, and maybe that would help, because then I could be like a leader in the situation, or maybe he needs to do that. But something needs to happen to make our chemistry a little bit better. But regardless of that, I did have a good time. I like hanging out with him. He's a nice guy. Cool. And it was just got to do nothing for a while, and it's fun to do that, So, do I have anything else to say about that? Not really. I was rambling, and I don't even know if this was coherent, and I don't even know if this counts as good content anymore, man. Like, I don't even know if I just repeated myself over and over again. I hope I didn't, but if I did, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know how I can format this a little bit better. And please give me advice on how to talk about people, how to tell stories. Do you want me to be more biting? Do you want me to be more like gossipy, more shit-talky? I'd rather not do that, because I don't like shit-talking in general. I hate it. It makes me, like, I just don't like on principle, I don't like it. I mean, I think that I would like doing it if I did it, but, like everybody likes shit talking, but it feels good. But I just don't like doing it on principle because it just doesn't seem like a morally good thing to do. Whatever. This is the end of this episode of the Kokino Podcast. I don't think I'm going to record another one to keep kept up because I'm already still like 14 episodes ahead. So this is tomorrow I will record another one. So see you guys next time. Have a good life. Have a good time. Yeah. End podcast.